How's it going, Rogues Gallery, and welcome to another Shadowverse Evolve video here on Red Zone Rogue. Today we are discussing my favorite deck from the latest Shadowverse Evolve release, the Shadowverse Evolve and Cardfight Vanguard collab and crossover. Now, there are a ton of really powerful decks from this format, the best of which being the Dragon deck, the Kagero deck. This is the deck that saw the most results and the most metagame relevance. I will have a link, by the way, to this deck list in the description down below if you'd like to check out what most people consider to be the best deck. However, that is not my favorite deck, which of course is Abyss. It couldn't be anything but Abyss. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into our top-down and start discussing my favorite Shadowverse Evolve and Cardfight Vanguard crossover collab deck, the Shadow Paladins. Let's do it. Alright, and of course, we have our boy Ren Suzugamori as the leader of our deck. And once again, this is all about the Shadow Paladins, a very classic Cardfight Vanguard. I guess you could say, I was gonna call it a nation, but it's a, it's a very classic faction and archetype. So we do have our Evo deck here, and of course, as with all of my Shadowverse Evolve decks, I do kind of like theme out the sleeves. We have a little bit more of a generic Abyss theme for the main deck, but we did rock the Cardfight Vanguard sleeves for the Evo deck here. And, well, it's a little bit kind of what we're doing, but not exactly what we're doing. We're not doing the mix with Sword. You can build this deck where you mix, actually I have the card right here. You can mix some of the like Majesty Lord Blaster and Blaster Blade stuff with the Blaster Dark stuff and kind of go like with a Sword Abyss type deck. But we're going to be doing the full Shadow Paladin, the full Abyss. I really like this deck. It's a ton of fun. Basically what we want to do is build up cards in our cemetery and make use of all of the various Shadow Paladin effects. We have a lot of cards that care about other Shadow Paladin cards, that search our deck for Shadow Paladin cards, put them into play, all that good stuff. It's a really fun deck and a pretty strong one as well. So let's go ahead and start talking about our starting amulet. So our starting amulet here is the Full Bow. If you didn't know, all Cardfight Vanguard and Shadowverse Evolve decks, you get a starting amulet, which means it just comes into play at the start of the game. So, yep, and you only get one. So its effect is you can bury this card, and you bury the top two cards of your deck, and you can only activate this if there's a Shadow Paladin on your field. All of our stuff is Shadow Paladins, which is great. So yeah, this is our starting amulet, and it just helps us fill up our cemetery, which is the game plan here. Now let's talk about all of our triggers. So we're running the full suite of Abyss triggers because the drive mechanic and the triggers are really strong for the Vanguard decks. So this one is our stand trigger. It's a 1-drop 2/2, and it says at the start of your end phase, select a Shadow Paladin follower on your field, and if there are at least 10 Shadow Paladin followers in your cemetery, refresh it, which is pretty good. As always, when you do your drive checks, if you get one of these cards with a trigger, you can choose to do its effect, and if you do its effect, well then, you get to do this effect. It says right here, if it is revealed by a drive check, refresh a follower on our field. For the rest of this turn, it can't attack enemy leaders. So that's what the stand trigger does. Lets us basically get 2 attacks, but you just can't double attack leaders. Good for clearing the board. So running the full 3 of all of these. Here we have the draw trigger, the Abyss Freezer. I do like the name. 2-drop 3/2. Fanfare, discard a Shadow Paladin card, select a Shadow Paladin card, follower in our cemetery, and add it to our hand. So we basically got to swap a card from our hand with one in our cemetery, and we're going to be filling our cemetery and doing all that kind of good stuff. So this is a great card, even on play. And when it's revealed for a drive check, we get a draw card, which is excellent. All of the drive cards, or all the triggers, are like pretty good, and they also have that extra trigger functionality. Here we have the crit trigger. It's another 2-drop 3/2 Grim Reaper. While there's at least 10 Shadow Paladin cards in our cemetery, this one has Storm. This one's really strong. both when you reveal it as a trigger, but also just late game, you can just jam a bunch of Grim Reapers and just kill your opponent. We have a lot of potential to just storm our opponent out with this and some other cards as well. Really, really good stuff. And then if you reveal this as for a drive check, we get any one of our followers +2 attack, which is really solid. And then finally, we have our heal trigger, the Abyss Healer, 2-drop 2/3. This one has Ward. And then Fanfare, if there's at least 10 Shadow Paladin cards in our cemetery, we heal our leader for 3. And then if you reveal this for the drive check, you also heal for 3. So pretty solid. Yeah, the drive checks and all of the triggers are just really, really solid stuff. It's one of the reasons why the Vanguard decks are so good. So that's kind of just our nuts and bolts stuff that you're going to be running in basically all of the Vanguard decks. These are the Abyss variants. And I do want to say, every card on our deck is a follower. Every single card is a follower, except for the starting amulet. Everything else is a follower, so we have a pretty follower and unit heavy deck, like basically a board state style deck. So this is the Black Sage Charon, 1-drop 2/2. So we have a lot of 1-drop 2/2s, which is pretty solid. Fanfare, bury the top card of our deck. Great, exactly what we want to do. Fill our cemetery. Next up, we have the Blaster Javelin, another 2-drop 3/2. This one has Rush, and then on Fanfare, we discard a Vanguard card, which is all the cards in our deck. So basically, just discard a card, and then search our deck for a Phantom Blaster Dragon or Blaster Dark, reveal it, add it to our hand, then shuffle. So we have a lot of effects like this where we're going to go search for stuff. So let's go grab the Phantom Blaster Dragon and Blaster Dark. So let's see, here's Blaster Dark, and then Phantom Blaster Dragon. So we'll talk about those ones next because they are relevant to this card. But both of them are really key components of the deck. So that is the Blaster Javelin. All right, let's talk about Blaster Dark. This card is super cool. A 3-drop 3/3. It can evolve for 1. It has single drive, which means when it attacks, you reveal top card of your deck. And if it has the trigger, then you're going to do the trigger effect. And then on Fanfare, you bury the top 2 cards of your deck. Perfect. We want to fill our cemetery. This card does everything we want to do. And then when we evolve the Blaster Dark, it turns into a 4/4 with single drive still. And then on evolve, select an enemy follower on the field, deal it 3 damage, then deal 1 more damage to it for every 5 Shadow Paladin cards in our cemetery. So just a great, nice little 2-for-1, and he's pretty cheap, and there's a lot of ways to go search him up. So this is a pretty important card for the deck, the Blaster Dark. And we're running the full 3 of the Evo as well. We want to be Evoing our Blaster Darks when we play them. So that is Blaster Dark. And then the other card that the Javelineer, the Blaster Javelin can go get is the Phantom Blaster Dragon, another really key card in the deck. In fact, maybe even more so than the Blaster Dark, because this thing is kind of a house. 3-drop 4/3, so immediately great stats. But as an additional cost to play this card, you have to bury a Shadow Paladin follower, which is just any follower that we have because they're all Shadow Paladin followers. It evolves for 1. It has Storm and Twin Drive, so we reveal 2 cards instead of 1. Then Fanfare, if you buried a Blaster Dark as additional cost to play this, you immediately evolve it. But you don't have to bury the Blaster Dark. You can bury one of the 1-drop 2/2s or whatever. But if you do bury the Blaster Dark, you get a free evolve on the Phantom Blaster Dragon. And it doesn't count as doing the once per turn Evo, which is important. So obviously we're running a full 3 of here. Let's talk about the Evo version of the Phantom Blaster Dragon. It's a 5/4, still has Storm, still has Twin Drive, and on Evolve, we select an enemy fall on the field, and if there are at least 10 Shadow Paladin cards in our cemetery, you destroy it. So, hit your opponent in the face for 5, blow up another thing, get Twin Drive, it's good stuff, and getting the free Evolve if we sack the Blaster Dark on the Fanfare is also pretty solid. And those are actually the only Evo cards in our deck. So the only Evo cards are just Phantom Blaster Dragon and Blaster Dark. All the other cards in our Evo deck are the new drive points, which you do for the ride ability. And so we're running 4 of the drive points because we do have some cards that have the ride ability that are really good that we need these for. And of course our last 3 are the Evo points. So yeah, that's our entire Evo deck. Pretty simple, actually. The deck itself is fairly straightforward and one that I would highly recommend for folks who, 1, dig this kind of style, but 2, want a fairly beginner-friendly deck and a powerful deck. So next up we have the Knight of Darkness Rugos, another 2/2, so it's a 2-drop 2/2. This one has that drive effect. So you can pay 1 and give this follower drive. And when it has drive, you do drive checks. And you do that by paying 1, and then you take one of your drive points and you slap it underneath the card. And when that follower dies or leaves the field, then that point goes back, but you can't use it again. It's like a one-shot kind of deal. And then on drive, so when you pay the 1, give this drive, select up to 1 enemy fall on the field, deal it 2 damage, give this follower +1/+1, and bury the top card of our deck. So it just does everything we want to do. Really, really solid. We're running 2 of this, mostly just because we have a lot of other cards with drive that are going to be competing for those drive points. Still a really good effect. Hey, speaking of which, we have the Witch of Nostrum Arianard? Arian. We have her. She's cool. She's the witch. 2-2/2. She has not a fanfare. She has the drive effect. So you can pay 1, give her drive, and then on drive she gets +1/+1, and then you can discard a Shadow Paladin card, and if you do, draw 2 cards. Really, really strong actually. And if you didn't know, when you do the drive effect, it also gives them rush. So she becomes a 3-drop, 3/3 rush, discard a card, draw 2 cards. Really good. Fills up her cemetery and draws cards. So we are running the full 3 of her. She's very strong. Speaking of which, we have the Darkness Maiden Matcha, also very strong. 3-drop, 3/3. She can drive for 1. On drive, she gets +1/+1, and then we search our deck for a Shadow Paladin follower that costs 2 or less, and you summon it, and then shuffle. Super, super strong. So you can go grab your Witch, you can grab your Knight of Darkness, you can go grab Blaster Javelin, which is a really, really good one to go get. You can get Charon, you can go grab any one of the other ones, because they're also all Shadow Paladin cards. You can go grab a Grim Reaper for the Storm if you have that active for you. Yeah, so very, very powerful card. And one of the strengths of this deck is just being able to go tutor or search for whatever we need. This is a really good one. So yeah, just go get something that has a really good fanfare effect, or that can just do something immediately when you go and get to play it for free, which is good. So yeah, we're running a full 3 of this, obviously. Ooh, this is another one of my absolute favorites. We have the Skull Witch Nemain, 4-drop, 3/3. Also has the drive effect, so you can pay 1. And then on drive, you give this follower +1/+1. It's a pretty common trait among all of them. Then you look at the top 3 cards of your deck, and you can reveal a Shadow Paladin card from among them, which is all the cards in our deck. Add it to our hand, bury the rest, and then on fanfare, you select an enemy fall on the field and deal it 4 damage. So this is crazy value, right? Even if you don't do the drive effect, you just get to blast something for 4. But then on drive, this becomes a 4/4, and you get to look at the top 3, take a Shadow Paladin card, put it in our hand. So it's better than drawing a card. So this one's also really solid, and we're running a full 3 of. Next up, we have the Cursed Lancer, a 5-drop, 5/5 fanfare. Give our leader +3 health. Bury the top 2 cards of our deck. At the start of our end phase, select an enemy follower on our field, or select an enemy follower on the field, and if there's at least 10 Shadow Paladin cards in our cemetery, destroy it. So it just blows up something on our opponent's field at the end of our turn, basically. And it heals us for 3, and buries 2 cards. It's a really solid card. You kind of have to wait for the turn to end before you get to destroy something, but it's still pretty good. Heal 3, bury 2 for 5. We're only running a single copy, but it is a fairly solid card. And then finally, we have our big finisher. This card is awesome. We have the Phantom Blaster Overlord, which is a 9-drop, 6/6, but not really a 9-drop. If there are at least 15 Shadow Paladin cards in our cemetery, we can bury a Phantom Blaster Dragon to play this instead of paying its cost. So if we go get one of those Phantom Blaster Dragons, we can just play this for free. Why would we want to play this for free? Well, because it's huge. It has Ward and Twin Drive, and on fanfare, we select an enemy fall on the field, destroy it, and draw 3 cards. That's kind of wild. But also, you can pay 1 and discard another Phantom Blaster Overlord and give this one +6/+6, which is nuts. You have a nice 12/12 Ward Twin Drive. Crazy. So yeah, this is our big top end. And keep in mind, throughout all of this, we have potential to just storm our opponent out of nowhere, because we have the Phantom Blaster Dragon that has Storm, and we have our the Reaper that also has Storm. This deck is super fun to play. This is the deck that I've been playing the most as of late. Since the Cardfight Vanguard collab set came out. This is my favorite deck out of all of them. It's a lot of fun. You fill up your cemetery, you get cool effects once you do so. You have a lot of things that let you go search and just put stuff into play, draw cards. Yeah, this deck is really fun. So if you're looking for a fun, fairly easy to play deck from the Cardfight Vanguard crossover that's not the Kagero Dragon deck, I highly recommend Shadow Paladin. Also, it's got the best aura. Like, look at this. This is sick. This stuff is rad. This stuff is rad as hell. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I really appreciate all the support for the Shadowverse Evolve content. Let me know down in the comments down below what type of video you'd like to see next. And we'll see you next time.